No whammy. No whammy. Rip. The Brigand Pounder is my least favorite, and I think can be one of the hardest bosses depending on RNG in the game. Other bosses, if a stun fails or if you miss 2 attacks, often does not mean the whole party gets reduced to death's door. I mean the whole party. The cannon itself is so simple, but we'll still cover the abilities of it. Reinforcements. Reinforcements occurs every turn unless there is no more room for new soldiers. A matchstick man would always be summoned if he is currently dead. There's no way around that. The other 2 types of brigands that are summoned are the Cutthroat and the Fusilier. Neither are a great choice, and both get annoying since the Fusilier pairs well if the cannon fires, and the Fusilier can kill your whole entire party if you're put on death's door. The Cutthroat has a decent amount of HP, a little bit of protection, and does decent damage as well. Both of the adds need to be taken care of depending on the situation. Boom goes boom, and depending on your luck, it can just drop the party. It has a wide range of damage, but I would not count on surviving a cannon blast if it hits. It takes a lot of work to re-heal everyone to an appropriate amount of HP for the fight. The one thing with Boom is it has a rather low accuracy, just sitting over 100%. This can be dodged, and we'll theorize about that later. Misfire. Misfire is a godsend, and it really gives you another chance to fight another day on this boss. My 3rd level fight was really lucky because I got some of these. In all honesty, I should have lost my 3rd level attempt, however RNG went my way. These things happen, and they allow you to get away with bad decision making and party composition once in a while. If the wiki has the correct numbers, Boom has a 75% chance to fire, and Misfire is only 25% at the 3rd level, which means I got pretty lucky the fact that I got some Misfires. It is not an ability of the cannon itself, but obviously a strong association is the Matchstick Man. At 3rd level, his HP does not increase by a high amount, still easy to one-shot territory, but his dodge becomes 35. This can reduce your chances to hitting to about 75% or lower depending on the individual and their skill. This guy has to die or either be stunned unless you can execute an insane dodge heavy lineup. This is where RNG will either make or break you. The Pounder itself has no real weaknesses, though it can be affected by marks, it just won't get the debuff. It has a protection of 25%, which you're not going to lower unless you use armor piercing abilities just to ignore the protection in general. This is where a Grave Robber can be an excellent choice for 3rd level. The Pounder also does not count as Eldritch, Unholy, Human, or Beast, whatever have you. It is technically considered Ironwork, and it sucks. Lineups for this fight. Do not make the mistake I did in the 3rd level and not bring enough versatility and row hitting. I technically had 3 people who could hit the 3rd row, but 2 of them were kinda weak and 1 had to focus on healing. Meaning my chances of killing the Matchstick Men were slim if I ever missed one, and once I did, I felt it. I think a Grave Robber is an excellent choice for the armor piercing ability, and she could also function in a mark strategy if you want to go that way. I would have brought a Hellion for a whole row hitting experience because the Leper was not good. I also think the Hound could have replaced my Jester in the 3rd scenario. I say Houndmaster so you can reduce some stress damage throughout the dungeon walk. You're going to need a strong healer since this party composition is fairly squishy and the dungeon walk could be bad depending on the crits before. Something I theorized after the fight was you can go a massive dodge heavy, kinda cheesy lineup. This would include 2 Man-at-Arms and Antiquarium. Campfire abilities of the Man-at-Arms could add an extra 20 dodge before they get into the battle, an extra 20 when they're in there, and that would already put at people about an average of 65 to 70, and this would stay for the whole fight, these are not rounds. The Antiquarium could also do an additional 10 before the cannon fires, making everyone about 70. This would make your chance to get hit about 20-25% on the first turn, depending on the armor dodge of the individuals you bring. Obviously, as the rounds go, this would get smaller and smaller as the Antiquarium can begin build at 10 dodge per turn, eventually reducing the cannon shot to maybe like a 3 or 4% in the end. My only issue with this is how the heck do you do any damage throughout the dungeon? How do you reduce any stress damage coming in? And how are you going to kill the Brigand? No one in that party hits hard and no one has armor piercing abilities and it can't be blighted. This would be an insanely slow lineup, but it may work. The one way you could do it is if you did Retribution and you just riposte damage everybody while the Man-at-Arms main turn goes on the cannon itself. The final way is pure ad control with a little help from spawning RNG. A Leper and an Abomination could be excellent since Hew and Rake ability of the Abomination could continuously hurt the ad and the cannon as well, while the other 2 damage dealers can focus fire the Matchstick Man and the back row need be. This would take the longest, but probably the safest depending on luck and RNG. If I was to redo a strategy, I would personally want to give the Grave Robber a chance. Cannon only sits at 156 HP if you can go through its damage protection of 25%. That means a couple of crits and a couple of good hits from the Grave Robber could end this in about 10 turns, depending on the damage buff items you give to her. Overall, this fight is one of the most RNG filled opponents, thus making it hard to give consistent advice and a consistent outcome strategy. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe below.